Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled amidst the rolling hills, there stood a house. An old, creaky house that whispered secrets from its very foundations. The townsfolk would often tell tales of the eerie happenings within its walls, but none dared to venture too close at night. They sensed something amiss, something unsettling about the place. And they were right. Legend had it that the former occupants of the house were a couple who had an undying love for dolls. Not just any dolls, but lifelike puppets that seemed to possess a sinister presence. Their home was a sanctuary for these dolls, a place where they could be admired and adored. But little did anyone know, there was a dark secret hiding in the basement. The couple had a son, a boy named Samuel. From a young age, Samuel had an uncanny ability to control the puppets. He would spend hours down in the basement, manipulating their strings and bringing them to life. His parents were both amazed and terrified by his talent, unsure of where it came from or how to handle it. As Samuel grew older, his obsession with the dolls intensified. He became possessive, never allowing anyone else to touch them. And so, the puppets became his only companions, his only source of solace in a world that didn't understand him. His parents tried to intervene, to separate him from the dolls, but their efforts were in vain. One fateful night, a storm raged outside the house. The thunder boomed and lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the darkness. Samuel, unable to sleep, descended into the basement, seeking comfort from his beloved puppets. But as he stepped onto the cold, damp floor, he heard a whisper echoing through the shadows. "Samuel," it called, a voice that seemed to come from all directions at once. "We need you, Samuel. We need your help." Startled, Samuel looked around, searching for the source of the voice. His heart raced in his chest, and a chill ran down his spine. The puppets, usually so still and lifeless, began to move on their own. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and their limbs twisted and turned in unnatural ways. Unbeknownst to Samuel, the puppets had taken on a life of their own. Through some unknown force, they had gained control over their master. They whispered their desires into his mind, manipulating his every thought and action. Samuel was their puppet now, a mere vessel for their dark intentions. From that night on, the puppets in the basement became the true masters of the house. While the townsfolk slept peacefully, completely unaware of the horrors lurking beneath their feet, the puppets roamed. They skulked through the halls, their wooden limbs tapping against the floor. They crept into bedrooms, staring with their lifeless eyes at the unsuspecting sleepers. Every night, the puppets would gather in the basement, their strings dangling from the ceiling like twisted spiderwebs. They would hold secret meetings, discussing their plans, and reveling in their newfound power. And then, when the moon was high in the sky, they would emerge from the shadows, ready to wreak havoc. The townsfolk would wake up to find their belongings moved, their valuables missing, and their dreams haunted by the haunting gaze of the puppets. They would hear whispers in the night, voices that seemed to come from nowhere. They would feel a cold breath on their necks, even though no one was there. But the most terrifying part was yet to come. For those unfortunate souls who dared to venture too close to the house, the puppets would strike. They would lure their victims into the basement, promising them the fulfillment of their deepest desires. And once they had their prey cornered, the puppets would pounce, their sharp wooden teeth sinking into flesh and bones. The puppets' reign of terror continued for years, with no end in sight. Some brave individuals tried to uncover the truth, to expose the evil that lurked within the house, but they were swiftly silenced. The puppets were always one step ahead, always watching, always waiting. And so, the house with the puppets in the basement remained a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that control our lives. It serves as a warning, a cautionary tale to never underestimate the power of the unseen, to never disregard the whispers that echo in the dark. For who knows what puppets may be pulling our strings while we sleep.